Hello everyone and welcome back to the feature race for round 4 of the F224 Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend, once again returning to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. 4 points in it between your top between your top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. Any of your top 8 could leave this feature race with the championship lead. So anything can happen as we move into the main event. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday with the sprint, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs here on the channel. But yeah, let's head then out to the Emilia-Romagna circuit once more, and hopefully from the back of the field, we can try and get a big result.
Welcome to all those joining us as we kick off another round of thrilling Formula 2 racing at Imola. Imola's unusual in that it runs anti-clockwise, taking in 19 turns along its 3.1 miles of tarmac. 9 of those are right-handers, with the remaining 10 as left-handers. Now, the F2 drivers here today need to keep in mind the elevation. Pay attention to turn 7. A slow exit from here will lose a driver a lot of time as they struggle to accelerate uphill. Here are the starting positions for today's race. A fantastic effort from Ollie Bearman yesterday puts him on pole position, with Paul Aaron alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have
Colapinto,
Cordial, Pepe Marti,
O'Sullivan,
Verschoor, Bortoletto, Correa, Victor Martins, Hadjar,
Villagomez,
Enzo Fittipaldi, Dennis Hauger, Maloney, Miney, Stanek, Jack Crawford, Miata,
Barnard, Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli.
Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. It is the Formula 2 race. It is time to introduce you to Alex Brundle. I'm Alex Jakes, and we've got changeable weather out there today. That's making for some nervous team personnel down in the paddock, down in the pit lane.
Well, uncertainty is what strategy's all about, but it absolves the teams from the responsibility of running both compounds of tyre. They might have to use that wet tyre, of course, and then the question is, where do those crossovers lie between the wet and dry conditions?
Well, here we are then down at the back of the field, and yep, this time around Alex Brundle, even I should say, is correct. Changeable conditions predicted towards the end of the race, so I think we've got to try and go with the alternate strategy here. Start on the super soft tyres, start on the medium tyres, and then if it doesn't rain enough, then we'll move it over to the super softs at the end of the afternoon. From the rear of the field, we've just got to try and go with something left field. We would really love to try and make sure that we don't lose out too many points to Paul Aaron or Gabriele Bortoletto in the championship. They reckon the mediums will go about 13 laps here, so we'll have to wait and see as to how far we're able to go. Waiting on the grid for those 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go there once again, trying to avoid wheel spin on the initial launch. Taylor Barnard clearly did his homework after yesterday's sprint regarding how to launch these cars once more, and he will get a much cleaner run in towards that first corner. Now, annoyingly for me, obviously Parc Ferme is enabled, so we can't even change the wing angle of the car, which is something we struggled with in quite a big way earlier on in the weekend, as Miata and Barnard there just giving me a window to have a look down the inside into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane, but we'll sit back for now, and we'll just kind of watch the cars wind their way through. Now we won't down the inside into Tosa, and we'll try and claim a couple of freebies there. Both times this weekend, we've gone 3 wide through Tosa on lap 1. It's not too sure why Taylor Barnard was so adamant he was going to try and ram into the side of me up through the top of the hill there as well. But yeah, this race, at least the early laps, going to be a bit of a slow burn for us. We're not going to have the same tyres as everybody else, so we might be set to struggle just a little bit. Let's have a look what the team is saying.
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being.
Well, that's not reassuring. Team already, well, there's no radar showing up. Oh, sorry, no rain showing up on the radar, even I should say, early on. But yeah, we are still down in last place then as we round our way through the final few corners. And our teammate Ollie Bearman at the front of the order. Maybe I've got inspiration from Gabriele Bortoletto's last to first at Monza a couple of months ago. Or maybe I'm just stupid. We'll have to wait and see. 1 lap down, 17 more to go. Well, every single car then early on in this race seems to still be just in one train. Like I said, Imola was always pretty bad for it anyway inside F124. But yeah, these F2 cars, I think honestly what they need is just a bit more AI discrepancy.
Rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
That's exactly what I want to hear early on. The rain is still predicted to fall at some point in this race. And we'll basically have to make the call when that rain does start falling. Is it going to be heavy enough as... Thank you, Miata. He's just going to give me the racing line down the end of the straight there. We'll slot back in behind him after a quick trip through the gravel. But yeah, we'll basically have to decide whether we want to be on those super soft tyres if we don't think the rain's going to get heavy enough. And that will hopefully, you know, provide us with a bit more grip right towards the end of this one. As it looks like Paul Aaron then has moved past Ollie Behrman at the front of the order. Now we're just starting to get a little bit of spread happening further up the order there. And, well, I think for us, we've got to try and start making a few moves then. Super soft tyres really don't last long around this venue, as down the inside of Ratomo Miata. It'll be the outside for the exit of the Gio Villeneuve chicane, but we will hook it up. And although we spent a bit longer in last place in the feature than we did the sprint, we're still feeling confident. To be fair, our entire strategy is completely banked on the idea that it is going to rain, and rain quite badly towards the end of the afternoon. I think it'll probably be sort of around lap 7, lap 8 that we start seeing the AI coming in. But yeah, it hasn't taken long before the medium tyre feels more than, you know, quick enough to keep up with their super softs. Obviously, we know actually that the AI balance around here is pretty good, just very, very oddly split. We are so much quicker through the corners, and they are so much quicker down the straights. I genuinely couldn't even tell you whether the AI changed default setups inside F2, whether they just run the complete baseline every single race inside this series, or whether, you know, they like to run low downforce or high downforce. I've just got no idea. I mean, even a safety car or a red flag, anything could make the difference in this race. Imagine if we got a red flag now and it took us right the way to the wet period then, and everybody was just given a free pit stop over to make that transition, you know. This strategy genuinely could go either way early on in this race, but we've got to start trying to make more moves. Taylor Barnard, of course, we were able to navigate him before we even got to the start-finish line in the sprint race yesterday, but so far the AIX driver still yet to score a point this campaign, I believe. But looks to be a bit more competitive today. We try and get a run up out of Aqua Minerale. You can just see how much more confident the AI are on their softer tyres. Not on the brakes, though, as down the inside of Barnard will go, basically with no option but just to back out of the move. The elbows, they're definitely still coming out. Oh, there we go. Ollie Behrman as well into the pit lane. So Behrman, I believe, is going to be the first to blink then, and so many other cars following him in. So we could see a little bit of, you know, AI tripping over each other and things like that through the pit lane. For the first time this weekend, we are up inside the top 10 there, as it looks like Miata just struggling to keep up with the rest of your running order. But, yeah, I expect to see every other car into the pit lane at the end of this lap. And then we're basically just waiting for the rain. Well, hopefully then, we are about to go from last to first in this feature race here, as Joshua Dirksen will provide us with a free bit of DRS as well. And as we move past Paul Aaron then, one of our big title rivals, we are up into the lead of the GP there. Looks like Behrman has been able to get a bit of a breakaway as well from some of those other cars. So maybe now Prema are going to be up into a 1-2 situation. Of course, we should have had this all the way back in Jeddah. But yeah, Behrman unfortunately ran into some technical glitches. But basically now, any time after this, I am happy for it to rain.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
And I don't reckon that rain is rolling in. How far do I have to go in this race before I finally decide that it's just worth pitting? As, are we going to see Behrman get the jump on Paul Aaron? No, we're not. Well, Ollie Behrman then has now moved into P2 of this race. As we get to half distance, we've only lost about 0.6 of a second to both him and Paul Aaron since they boxed. And of course, they are going to potentially enjoy quicker tyres or fresher tyres to the end of the afternoon.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
I mean, that rain is rolling in, but we are basically employing a strategy of either we win or we walk away with nothing. I mean, we haven't really got anything to lose, so even if we don't get this rain, we may as well stay out until basically the very last lap. Otherwise, we're just going to be at the back of the field anyway. Unless we get a safety car or a red flag, we've got nothing to lose in this one. Well, the other problem we have got is where the DRS seems to be so OP here. Every single lap, Ollie Behrman and Paul Aaron just slipstream past each other just over and over, and it's actually working really nicely for them in taking time out of me. So, yeah, unless they do start battling a bit more, they're consistently at least half a second faster. I think the team, though, are finally starting to catch wind of what my plan is, although they are still begging me to pit pretty soon. Well, if you're new to Formula 2 as well, there is one other thing you have to consider with changeable conditions races. There's no such thing as the intermediate in FIA Formula 2. You just either have, obviously, your 2 sets of dries or a full wet tyre.
Give us the best in lap you can.
No, we're not, Mark, I'm afraid. We are going to continue staying out here because that rain is apparently less than 5 minutes away. I'm just waiting for the heavens to open at some point soon. But even then, if it does rain, it's going to have to rain pretty heavily. I mean, I'm happy just to box slightly early onto wets if the circuit doesn't feel like it's evolving enough. Otherwise, yeah, we will just get disqualified. I mean, the only other hope we've got as well, if it doesn't start raining heavy enough, maybe if it's just a little bit slippery, we'll start to see AI make errors as well. I mean, so far this year, Isaac Hadjar, isn't it, of course, he's already spanned twice in races and created chaos in both instances. We have had a red flag back in Jeddah as well, again, courtesy of Isaac Hadjar, and then who can forget the car park that we saw at the season opener in Bahrain as well. So there are still a few little windows for us, a few little opportunities, but as the tyre wear starts just to hurt a little bit more as well, just see they're trying to hop over the curbs a bit. Any kind of opportunity, any kind of window, the door is slowly slamming on us. Oh, we've got yellows, we've got yellows. Who is it? Oh, it's someone right at the back of the field, so they haven't caused really any chaos because of that. It is Ratomo Miata that is going to be your first casualty of the afternoon. Disappointing end to a disappointing weekend for the Japanese driver. But yeah, we could have really done with a safety car there. That's not going to happen, though. It's a little bit awkward. I tell you what, yeah, these medium tyres have hung on pretty well in this race. You could very easily no-stop this if it wasn't in the F2 rules, but sadly it is. And our 25-second lead at some point is going to get evaporated. When is that rain going to arrive? Like I said, it was kind of an all-or-nothing strategy that we've opted to employ here late on in the day, but there's not long left for us even to pit here. Never mind. Hope that the rain falls enough for us to pit. Is it just starting now? Every so often I just feel like I see it start raining, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, there we go. Rafael Villagomez now out of the race as well. But still, we're not getting any proper rain. I swear it just started there. I thought it looked like it was, but apparently not. And I mean, yeah, we've basically got a box at the end of this lap or next lap. And it is definitely starting to rain, but this has got to be the slowest I've ever seen it roll in on F1 24. It's just barely spitting. It's not even showing up on the car yet. That's normally the first sign that rain has arrived inside the F1 series, but we got yellows. Oh, that's Villagomez, isn't it? And yeah, just tucks the car away on the exit of turn 7. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, this is not going to be enough for us. And the only other thing that could happen is if the FIA declared this a wet race, obviously then you also wouldn't have to pit. They'd have to disable the DRS for that. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen at this stage of the afternoon. And well, Ollie Behrman, less than 23 seconds behind me now. We're just going to stay out one more. We've got nothing we can really lose at this stage. But end of next lap, we will have to peel into the pit lane. Otherwise, we will get disqualified. Well, I really had hoped at both Kimi and Prema's home races this weekend we could try and get a big result. We could try and cause the upset here. But as we are about to start the last lap of this race, if we cross that finish line without being in the pit lane, we will be disqualified from this race. You can see the gap to Paul Aaron down to just 21 seconds. I mean, I think, yeah, we're going to get undercut by absolutely everybody here. But, yeah, it's not going to be enough. I mean, could we go wet? No, it's definitely not damp enough, is it? It's barely raining still at this stage of the race. So we banked on that rain rolling in more than it really has. We're starting to get a few splotches on the screen. But ultimately, yeah, it's not going to be enough. And I've sped anyway. Damn it. Absolutely damn it. And this race just goes from bad to worse right towards the very end there. I mean, yeah, if we come out inside the top 10 now and that penalty is what costs us, then I'm going to be really disappointed.
That's it. Go, go, go. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
I don't think that's going to be the case, though, as Paul Aaron starts the last lap as well of this race. He is going to reclaim the lead at the front of the order. Are we going to see Ollie Behrman try to bring some sort of glory back to Prema, though? He's going to have a look round the outside down at turn 1, and I think he's only gone and done it. So Ollie Behrman back into the lead of this race with just 1 lap to go. But as we head back out of the pit lane, like I said, the gamble, it was either going to work or it wasn't. We were either basically going to win this race or walk away with nothing. And unfortunately today, it looks like we're going to walk away with nothing here. We'll just try and get some temperature up into the tyres. We don't even get a chance to try and go for the fastest lap as well. But to end up 6 seconds behind Taylor Barnard out of the pit lane goes to show, yeah, just how much of an advantage those on kind of the normal strategy had in the end. Maybe had we opted to box a bit earlier, we could have utilised these tyres a bit more. But like I said, you know, we were going for the, you know, win it all or nothing kind of call this afternoon. But at least for our teammate Ollie Behrman, as he rounds his way through the final few corners, it looks like he's going to become our 7th different winner of the season. It really has been a fantastic campaign so far in FIA Formula 2. Prema as well are going to be back on the top step of the podium with their 2nd feature race victory of the campaign. Through the final corner, Ollie Behrman makes his mark this season and reminds everybody why he will be going to Haas in 2025 there. Our teammate will take the win. But through the final couple of corners, our first pointless weekend of the year. It has been a real shame here at Imola, but for some reason, at the Italian circuits on F124, I have 0 luck.
The British driver will see the checkered flag first. Ollie Behrman takes the win.
Well, it's the team's local track, and you'd think that'd give them a little bit of an advantage, but they put on a show for the fans out there today who will be checking in on their progress.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
Well, there we go then. Ollie Behrman takes the victory here in the feature race to become your highest point scorer of the weekend here at Imola. Paul Aaron in P2 ahead of the ever-consistent Franco Colapinto. Bortoletto beats out Amory Cordial with O'Sullivan, Correa, Marty, Martans and Vershaw rounding out your top 10. A really disappointing weekend for us as Correa, yeah, once again took fastest lap bonus point as well. I mean, admittedly, the 10-second penalty kind of skews things there, but over 4 seconds away from Barnard come the checkered flag. The only 2 cars we finished ahead of, well, the 2 that didn't even finish, Rafael Villagomez and Ratomo Miata. What does that do for the championship, though? Well, it gives Paul Aaron a healthy 6-point lead over Gabriel Bortoletto at the top of the table. Prema now down in P3 and P4 there. So, yeah, really a weekend to forget for Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli as well there. Any other new point scorers? I don't believe so. You can see, yeah, only still those 3 cars yet to score. And luckily in the Constructors, Prema still with a 5-point lead over Hitech as well. But yeah, we've just got to try and put that one behind us. Focus on next weekend. I believe we're back at the duel in the Formula 1 crown next time out. We will return ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. That one I'm hoping we can try and get our championship hopes back on track.